So let's do some research. We have our research questions or our goals. We're looking at our great grandmother, and maybe we want to know when she was born. Maybe we want to figure out if she ever was married, um, know more about where she lived, how many children she had, who her father was, who her mother was, all the standard questions. These are just kind of examples. As we're getting started, you can definitely build as you are making your family tree, um, but just kind of some of the foundation. So this is our sheet. I created this in Google Docs. I use this regularly with clients. It helps the best, just to keep everything really nice and organized, and I can use the outlines. Um, so if you, it's a little tutorial, if you highlight this and you go up here to styles, you can pick how it looks. So title kind of going to look like a heading one, but if we do a heading two, it'll stack it underneath it, which is kind of nice. I use that when I have children that I add. Um, and then normal just brings it back. So this works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but in my business, it works the best. I can easily put these into a client folder, and then my clients have their full research report right in front of them with all their documentation. Um, so getting back to this, so we're looking for our great grandmother. We're just starting our research out. We're brand new to all this. Super, super excited, right? We ought to be excited. Um, the first thing that we're going to want to do is figure out which platform we want. Are we doing our research in the library or are we doing our research at home through the internet? With all the advances in technology in the past few years, um, it has been leaps and bounds as far as what is available on the community. So if we are gonna do it online, I do recommend. I have some of my favorites. I'm a genealogist by job, so I do use a lot of different platforms. One of the easiest by far, I think, for newbies is going to be FamilySearch.org, and it's free. So it just depends, how advanced you want to get. Um, but we're gonna do a little research through Family Search. So I log in, don't have to pay for it. Just create a login, like, save it. Um, simple. So then we go to okay, so I should go back here. When you sign in, it'll look like this. And if you go to search, we're gonna do records today. So we'll do records and then we're looking for so my great grandma is who our example is going to be. Her name was Lenora, but on several documents that I've uncovered, she goes by birth. Don't know why. Don't know if it's a childhood name. I'm not really sure. And her last name is Brinegar, but I know she was married. So she was married to my great grandfather. So I'm gonna put instead of Brinegar, I'm gonna put Codan because a lot of the documents that we're going to initially find are going to be documents after she was married. I know she was born in 1905, so we're not into those really old documents at this point. So just kind of rule of thumb, and you're going to have to play. Like I don't one name and then voila, I have a treasure trove. Like I literally have to play with multiple times during my and it's just the nature of the beast. I'm not gonna put a place in there. I knew she grew up in Kentucky, but um, I know with my own grandfather, like he lived in Kentucky, he lived in parts of Ohio, I think he lived in Indiana for a minute, so we were kind of all over. So I'm gonna leave that blank, and I know that she was born in 1905, so 2000. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a search here, and I just think that this is a really good baseline for everybody to kind of see how this research can go. Here we go. Okay. So now I have started my search. Uh, It's really, really important that you have either a pencil and paper next to you, or if you're like me, I have my Google Docs sheet. And that way I can document as I'm going. So we're gonna start here. I can see I have for Social Security death. That's great. I don't think I can start though. I typically go in an order. I'm looking for something that indicates for birth. So we're gonna just kind of research and see what we can find here. We have death, 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 and that might be because we have the Prodan name in there. And then we have other births. And we know she wasn't in Virginia. It's a little bit too far for her. I have 245 results. So you can see that, have a head for research when you're doing this. Um, 'Cause you can fall down the rabbit hole super, super easy. That's why I always suggest having a research plan to help guide you while you're doing your research. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stop what I do. So we'll go ahead and we'll put vinegar in, and I can even up a little bit. And I'm not gonna find anything. I was born at home. I don't think there's a birth record out there, but for just for giggles and grins. So I see she's she has a child born. This is my great grandfather. I know that from asking questions with my family. Um, I have a residence in Fayette. That's probably not her. That is probably one of her sibling children because there were a lot of births. Mm. And then I find one of my research questions was, was she ever married? I know she was married to Dan. But then I can also see that she was married to a Colin Isaac. So just so you guys can see, because I don't want to take a whole lot of time here, but I want to just if we open this up, this right here is going to be the transcription. I don't like to open them up until I'm ready to actually look at them, but I can see, yep, her father was William. I know that for a fact. Her mother was Mary Brock Brinegar. And then we can see Collins Isaac. They were 21, or he was 21 when they were married. You can go, so we can view the image, and I always say go with the actual image. Um, so this is it'll pop up like this every once in a while. Most documents, they'll actually populate the actual document, but it does highlight it for you to make it a little bit easier. I'm not really sure why it does that. I think it's just the format that it was scanned in. But I can see there's Colin, Isaac, Ernest is Bertie's brother. Uh, Bertie Brinegar's right here. And this just kind of gives you an idea. I like to look at the actual document because it hasn't been transcribed. And then I can kind of see, like, I know that, he's in Madison County, Kentucky. She lives in Madison County, Kentucky. His parents are Silas Isaacs, William Brinegar, Mary Brock. They applied for this on August 12th of 1920. And it just gives me a little bit more information. I can see that her brother was Ernest was basically the witness, which is interesting, 16 years old, but whatever. So that just kind of gives you a gist. A lot of the other platforms, I don't want to take up a lot of time, but Ancestry is super popular. If you've had your DNA test done, I'm not going to touch on that within these classes. I did write a DNA beginners genetic genealogy course that I'm getting ready to launch, and it is in depth. I'm not a scientist, but I have to know certain things in order to even handle DNA. So, Ancestry is probably the biggest platform for your DNA matches, though, and it's probably as far as user base, it's going to be the biggest of the top four. But with that, it's a lot of records too. So when you start building your tree, and then if I have a whole lot here. When you start building out your tree, you're gonna get these little leaps, and this is all I'm gonna say on this little thing. Don't just start reviewing and say, hey, make sure you're looking at it. Make sure that it matches. I just showed you, there's a lot of different bird predators. So it's really, really important that you're not just adding things to your tree. Make sure the document actually backs up that person's history. And sometimes that can be even just double checking or data deaths or demographics. Where are they living? But you can gain a lot of information off this. It's just really important that you're not just adding this because then you don't have an all tree. So I just want to caution on that. But as far as searching, there are tons of different ways that you can search. Um, and this really quickly, and you can see it's going to populate even more documentation. Um, Obviously, her death was most recent, so it brings up a lot of that. But that can just help us give us clues as to more about Birdie's life. So, MyHeritage is another really popular search engine. On this one, there are family trees. Again, I caution don't just share someone's family tree unless they have it sorted and cited, because a lot of times people just get those little leaves and they're just like click. So, just make sure that when you are adding something to your tree, it's fully cited. You know where the source came from, and it matches that person. So, this one we have a picture of her. Um, so that's kind of cool. Just looks like she's a little bit younger here, which is neat. So all these search engines are going to just do different things. Um, you have to pay for MyHeritage, you have to pay for Ancestry, and there's different levels of membership. Another really great one that is a paid one is Find My Past. I do a lot of client work that's overseas, and Find My Past is really great for those English records, uh, Swedish records, German records, some German records out there. So it's just another good platform. But again, we kind of have the same thing. We have um, death notices and things like that. So it's not super great for the United States. Every once in a while, you'll get an Easter egg, especially um, Genealogy Bank is another platform. There's several. These are just the ones that are kind of like my go-to. And again, this is a paid platform. Um, it looks like there is a newspaper article from Indiana. I know that they were in Indiana for a short bit of time. Um, so we'll open this up and see what this is. And Genealogy Bank, it has like articles. So yep, it's Dan and Birdie, and I know she was married to Dan. So um, that's kind of fun. And then the newspaper.com, I have that rolled in with my Ancestry membership. But it's awesome because you can find a lot of great little tidbits. Not super great for Toledo, Ohio, uh, but every once in a while, the stories will circulate to Lima, Astoria, and places like that. So you never know really what you're gonna find. And also, if your family members and ancestors are in different towns, you can uncover some great Easter eggs. So, anything that I do find though, I do add to my document. So I'm looking at this news article here. Uh, I'm gonna go ahead and I will flip this. See what So I clipped it. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna go over here and from 1931. So I would put like a little line here, 1931 paper. Have my clipping, which I'll also save. But I will also take this link, see if we can find the context of this newspaper article. So they had a child. So then I have a little context too, uh, but it has my link there if I ever need to reference it, and I document. and then I can move on. Um, I do want to put in here this information as well before I forget. So sometimes you can just copy and paste. So this one kind of function. So here, like, when you're page 15, I just kind of like to log those details. That way I know where it came from. And then it, I've logs. I've successfully logged um, something on my research log, and uh, I just kind of keep going. I have my research questions right here. I know now Father's William. I can add him. He would now become number one. William Vinegar. He would become number two. That's just kind of how I do that, and I use. So I'll go on her, and then I'll do a page break, and that's kind of how I keep everything nice. But now he's up here, so we know that's her father. It just kind of keeps everything organized. Um, but when you're researching, that's like number one key. If you stay organized and you have your research questions available to you, you can really stay on track. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. But I just wanted to thank you guys for attending the workshop series. And hope you join us next week as well. Yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.